Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Another week of live shows starts right here, right now on KBS. I hope you're ready. I'm ready. We'll get into it in just a minute. Big warm welcome. If you are new to the channel, please remember to subscribe. And if you're a regular here, hit like, hit share, show you care. And we will get into it in just a moment, ladies and gents. Get your coffees ready, get your PPP ready. We are almost ready to rock and roll. There we go. There we go. Yes, indeed. We are live. Yes, and I've got up here. Connie was first in chat. That's wrong. It was today. You ready? All Rise the King was first in the chat room. Yes, he was. There we go. So there is King Sweet. Pride and place above the chat box there. Congratulations, brother, on getting first into the chat room. Remember back in the day, that was a thing. Little Yahoo chat rooms. You had AOL Messenger, MSN Messenger. Nobody really worried about encrypted comms, or nobody really gave too much pause for concern about privacy and all that good stuff that we know more about today, eh? The early days of the internet. Oh, remember getting your disk to load up the AOL software, your portal to the internet. It wasn't even that long ago, folks. I'm not like going back to when TVs were in black and white and things like that. No, no, no. Yeah, I don't know what brought on that little nostalgic loop, but it did. So welcome back. It's Monday and you'll be surprised to see me after my lazy week last week. But tomorrow I've got a full day of testing and prodding and poking and probably no lube and way beyond the tip up at the hospital. So I probably won't be doing a pre-show stream tomorrow, but I'll have Charlie Robinson on tomorrow night on the show. And tonight on the main Kev Baker show, I am going to be talking about something, which I'll bring up here now, called the catastrophe cycle. Yes, indeed, folks. We're going to be talking about that on the show tonight. I'm going to be presenting a lot of information from Velikovsky to suspicious observers about a cycle that we need to pay attention to. It's one of the few things in the universe that actually you can rely on is the cyclical nature of everything. Civilizations rise, they fall, and what comes and goes in between, well, sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. But tonight we're going to be concentrating on a 12,000 year cycle. And over the weekend, you know, with the mudslides happening over in Japan, absolutely awful. We looked at that on the member stream yesterday. Yes, we've got memberships here. If you'd like to become a member, and I would love you to become a member, please click the big join button down below. We've had volcanoes popping off, earthquakes, and I thought, well, maybe it's time to take another look at some of the cycles that we know about, and some of the ones that we're in a window of opportunity to witness firsthand. We talk about something massive coming down around the corner, just over the horizon. And I've speculated that thanks to retrocausality and weird quantum effects, we're actually picking up on some of the ripples of a future event right now. Could it be an event in the catastrophe cycle? I don't know. I provide, you decide. And like it says, I've had my decorators in. The people over in the members only area will know this set very well. This is now going to be the full-time set. I'm going to pimp something out for you members, don't worry. Got Bakshi on the wall here. No set is complete until you've got the Bakshi.
Genetically modified.
Absolutely. We've got lots of buttons to play with.
Bruh.
Yep.
Shut up!
Yep. Exactly. We're stepping things up in the game, ladies and gents. We truly are. But today, let me say right off the bat, we're about 10 minutes in. If you've got something productive to be doing right now, something that would be more worthy of your time, then please feel free to duke out now and go and do something like that. It's not going to be anything here that's going to change the world. Just me having my coffee, getting ready for tonight's show, chilling with the KBS family out there, and just chilling and chatting. Nothing serious. We've got a look at Loch Ness. It's the lowest it's ever been. Where is Nessie going to hide? Where's all the water going? We've got a look back at Tunguska, one of my favourite head-scratching mysteries. I could probably sit and come up with A, B, C, D, E, F, a full alphabet worth of theories as to what was going on there. And then there's also been something pretty cool from the ancient world that's turned up over in Italy. Yes, indeed. But before we go anywhere, let me bring up the chat room. I've got that many bloody boxes open, I don't know where anything is anymore. So then we've got King Sweet, he was first in the chat today. Moron, big shout out to you, brother. We have got ZX81. Hope you had a good weekend, bro. And I know tonight's topics, you'll be interested in that. You're going to enjoy this one. Polly, all the way from Canada. Hope all you Americans aren't sporting too much of a headache today after your independence celebrations yesterday. Indeed. We have also got Jocelyn, all the way from Alaska, if memory serves me correctly. I may be mistaken. We've got my good friend Marty in there. Good to see you. We also got some music on the background. We've got Wanda. Kitchen at one time was the only room in a house, then 2 rooms, then upstairs. Now it's spread. As long as we got the kitchen, because I've got the munchies coming on actually, now you've mentioned that, I blame you. We've got Lewis in there, aka Comet Man. See him kicking around on YouTube a lot. Hope you're learning lots, brother. Hope you're having fun as well. We have got Bet, and a fine addition to the KBS family in recent times, as has Bernays. Who else we got in here? Lewis, Jocelyn. One of 100 Monkeys, great name. John, Anna Dunham. Let's see who else we got. If I've missed anyone, I apologise. Just tuning in, says one of 100 monkeys. Are you the one? Are you going to be the one monkey that tips us over the edge and we all get a mass growth in consciousness? A download, an update, call it what you will. You'll get used to me, one of 100 monkeys. I'm probably one of the crazier, more out there YouTubers you're going to come across. Yes, indeed. I take my 44 years of experience clinging onto the side of this rock flying through space, and I take it all and I kind of stramash it all together with current events, ancient events, and it just, well, it is what it is. It becomes KBS, I provide, you decide. And I hope you're all ready to get into some really cool, nice, relaxed, non-divisive, very chilled out kind of topics and stories we've got for today. We need to come together, folks, not be highlighting the differences that we have and driving each other apart. So then, we go first to, of course, we go to Loch Ness. Yes, indeed. So if we come over here, get a little bit bigger for you. There we go. So I was quite shocked when I seen this the other day because, you know, Loch Ness, growing up there, first 18 years of my life, it's a pretty regular level to the loch. It doesn't get affected by tides, anything like that. And pretty much it's been one level that I remember all the way through my lifetime up there. But now we're seeing Loch Ness's record low water levels. So, the home of the elusive Loch Ness monster has seen a significant water level reduction in recent weeks. Now, it has been warm. It is summer. We have to throw that in there. Yes, I know for anyone out there who might be thinking, wow, does Loch Ness get sunshine? Sometimes. Only sometimes. It's not, you can't put money on it, okay? Not every year. So it says the world famous Loch. Yes, it's not a lake, it's a loch, ladies and gentlemen, which is well known for its monster mystery, and Kevin Dave Baker, has been in the news this week after it was revealed that it has lost a staggering 56 billion, with a B, litres of water due to the dry weather. That's a lot of water, ladies and gentlemen. 56 billion litres of water. So locals and visitors alike were surprised to find that some of the old wooden piers that are usually submerged beneath the surface are now high and dry. It is believed that overall the loch's water level has reduced by around 1 metre. That's pretty significant. Not an awful lot considering that the loch contains more water than all the lakes, rivers, and reservoirs in England and Wales combined, but it's still a significant amount of water loss given how large Loch Ness is. For those with a keen interest in the Loch Ness monster, such as Lochside resident Steve Feltham, have commented on the possibility that the situation could help to reveal previously hidden clues. He says, in 30 years of sitting here, and listen, he isn't even exaggerating, he's literally sat in a caravan/camper home at the end of the loch for 30 years. This guy is like, he takes monster hunting to new levels. So I can't remember ever seeing the water down this low, he wrote on Facebook. If it carries on like this, we will have the Nessie mystery solved. So I can tell you just by looking at this here, that is something I am not familiar with seeing. All of that out there, not familiar with that at all. So this is from the Times Scotland. A dry June has meant much. Has meant that the water in Loch Ness is now so low that piers, which are usually below the surface, can be seen again. So we could come over here to that. We'll probably get the full article, see what they're saying about it. A dry June has meant that the water in Loch Ness is so low that piers, which are usually below the surface, can be seen again. So the RNLI said that water levels were the lowest recorded after a lifeboat crew was unable to take a stricken yacht towards shore because the loch was too shallow. So this is pretty significant. I believe off the top of my head, you're talking about a loch that is 26 miles long. We just get the details of this. Let's see. Length 36.3 kilometers. What's that in miles? "22 miles long. 22 miles long. And at one point it's a mile wide. So when you've got a body of water that big that loses a meter, that's pretty significant. Pretty significant indeed. Now, there's also, if you remember some of the shows I've done in the past, there are earthworks, as in stone circles, under 70 feet of water at one part of the loch. Now, this goes back to a time when the loch level was far, far, far lower than what we remember today. And the Picts are actually attributed, they're given the credit for building these stone circles way back around the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th century. Now, what else might we end up seeing beneath the surface of the loch if it keeps going down? And where's all the water going to? Yeah, sure, it's been an alright June, not a bad start to July. But we've had good summers in the past where we haven't had this significant drop in water on Loch Ness. So why now? Is it purely due to a good summer and evaporation? I don't know. No expert here. Could there be something else going on? Could there be some kind of sinkhole somewhere's opened up? I don't know. I'm going a bit out there now. I'm not suggesting for 1 minute that Loch Ness is going to slowly drain away. But what if it did? Where would all that water go? What's amazing about Loch Ness, even as a local, is the fact that we still know so little about what's down there. And that's not even taking into account the fact that you've got the cavernous hills where you can go off the loch away. And of course, we've talked before about the tunnels that stretch from Scotland all the way under Europe and come out towards Göbekli Tepe, Turkey, places like that. Pretty crazy, pretty cool stuff. And I wonder if it's going to lead to more monster sightings. Is it going to have to come up more regularly? I don't know. We will only be able to watch and wait, ladies and gentlemen, or wait and watch. And I, as Loch Ness's resident quantum observer, I will bring you the best probabilities and possibilities that are coming our way from the depths of the loch. Anytime I think it's worth going back there. And you know me, anytime a Loch Ness story comes up, it's worth going back there. So let me bring up the chat room. Where's the water going, folks? What's happening in Loch Ness? What is going on? Tell me, what's going on? So we've got Ken and me in there. What's Ken saying? Bucket list. Swim in Loch Ness with Kev. Dude, we could, but we'll have to cover ourselves head to toe in animal fat. It's freezing, man. Like freezing. Like not good. No good at all. You get maniacs that go up there and actually swim up and down the length of the loch. What is that all about? Crazy. So, Ken and me, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Good to see you. We've got Jennifer in there as well. The UAPs needed to fill up on the water. Hey, there you go. I like that. I like it. It's out there. Not saying I'm really going with it, but for fun, for KBS, we go there. Absolutely. So anyone got any thoughts on the lowering levels of Loch Ness? Yes, indeed. Hey, listen, with the catastrophe cycle coming our way, who knows? Who knows what's going on geologically right now? Hey, listen, that was me trying to go full black pill. I can't even go doom and gloom if I tried. I can't. Just can't do it. It's been used for an underground secret nuclear plant. It's a nice theory. It's a nice idea. That's probably... I'll put that way out on the peripheries, though. I'll put that as a real long shot. We've got to rule out a few things before we get there, but I like your thinking. There's a high demand for water from the distilleries. You're right there, dude. You're right there. Big shout out to Rick. Rick Anderson, my friend. Yep. We need you up at the loch. Me and you will look after the water, dude. Maybe the aliens are coming down and stealing it. I'm telling you. Our Scottish water is... Mwah, mwah, très bien. That's like almost French Scottish water, but hey, it is what it is, right?
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Yeah, that mission failed, exactly. I couldn't agree more. So anywho, let me get a drink of my coffee. And then when we come back, we'll jump on to our next little story here about Tunguska. 113 years on, ladies and gentlemen. 113 years on, and we're still wondering truly what went on in Tunguska. Yeah, quick look at it there. There's where all the trees were absolutely obliterated. It occurred on June the 30th, 1908. And I have to ask, just what was going on with Tunguska? Yes, this is old footage now. I might need to go and get new footage of the loch. There's one less metre of water around that bad boy, ladies and gents. Maybe it went through the Crowley portal. Booga booga. So did we all have a nice weekend? I hope you did. Had a great weekend. Raring to go again now. We've got Charlie Robinson coming on tomorrow. We have got Ryan Gable back in the hot seat on Thursday. We've got the catastrophism today. We're going to be looking at the 12,000 year cycle. We're going to be hearing people like Velikovsky all the way to suspicious observers, and even some of Kevin Dave in between. Yes, nothing new under the sun when it comes to these cycles, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing new at all. And of course, we've seen the sun kicking off a good flare the other day. That'll herald the start of what is predicted to be a rather bumpy grand solar minimum. Will we make it through this one intact with all of our electronics and our trappings of modern society, all of the things that brings us our convenience, and with that complacency, will they survive the next 11 years? Doom and gloom, it's never far away, folks, trust me. But listen, here we go. And this is where I want to really make it audience interactive, because you know me, I don't tell anybody what to think. I would like to think I encourage you to think for yourself. And to that end, I ask you now, before, it's only a small article here, what do you think went down in Tunguska? 113 years ago. Says scientists are still investigating exactly what flattened part of the Siberian wilderness back in 1908. Few natural disasters in the 20th century have generated as much discussion and debate as the massive explosion that occurred in Tunguska, Siberia, 113 years ago. An event so destructive that it managed to flatten more than 80 million trees over a 2,000 square kilometre area. 2,000 square kilometres, it's hard to even picture that. Like physically, that's massive. 80 million trees from above. What was it? Fortunately, the disaster happened. Was it fortunate? Was it just by luck something like this happened in the middle of nowhere? Or was that by design? I provide, you decide. So fortunately, the disaster happened in a sparsely populated region, and aside from one deer herder who was allegedly killed by the force of the blast, there was no other reported casualties. Do you think if that deer herder hadn't been there to observe the event, it wouldn't have happened? I'm being facetious, ladies and gentlemen. I'm being silly. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Hey, does a tree make a sound when it falls if there's nobody there to hear it? I'm just asking. Exactly what was responsible for the explosion, however, has long remained a topic of heated debate, with some shunning the conventional meteor theory in favour of other explanations, such as a volcanic eruption, a comet impact, or even extraterrestrial intervention. Now, since 1908, there have been somewhere in the region of 1,000 papers published on the disaster, demonstrating just how much it has intrigued the scientific community over the years. Just last year, Russian scientists started combining Siberia's remote lake Zapovednoye in search of cosmic matter that could help to prove that a meteor was involved. A similar expedition in 2013 had also reported fragments that could have come from space. Perhaps the most important thing we've learned from the incident, however, is that large objects from space can or do hit our planet with alarming regularity, and that we should not be complacent. A message that was brought into alarming focus when a space rock exploded over the Russian city of Chelyabinsk back in 2013 with between 20 and 30 times the energy of an atomic bomb. If another Tunguska event happened over a major city, it would be an unprecedented disaster. It doesn't even bear worth thinking about what would happen if that happened over a metropolitan area. That image there alone should really give you kind of pause for concern if something like this was to occur today. But I've heard a lot of different theories about what was going on there. One of the more speculatory ones, I've got nothing to back it up per se, but I do know that Nikola Tesla's name has been thrown in there. Now, like I say, I think that's one of the more fantastical claims, but at the same time, I don't rule it out, because he was making a lot of potential inventions, one of them called the death ray, for lack of a better term. Was this a display of what he could do? And I think Tesla's idea when it came to weaponry was give it to everyone, because that way it's like mutually assured destruction. You wouldn't use it on somebody if you feared having it used on yourself, that type of thing, right? So was it that? I don't know. I want to ask the chat room. I want to see what people in the chat room are saying. Jennifer says, I'm leaning towards a meteorite explosion, but I'm not sure. Absolutely. Could have been an ice comet explosion, says Rick. Boloid, ZX81. What if all the trees just fainted? Are they snowflake trees? Siberia makes manly trees. They don't just fall over for nothing. An airburst, indeed. The rock hit the right note. Oh, it rung it like a bell. I like that. Would you even, I'm thinking aloud here, but even if you had a smaller object coming in, if it caused the right resonance when it strikes the ground, would that cause them to fall? I like it, dude. Did liquefaction take place of the soil? A type of meteor, ZX with boloid, yes. Woke trees, they may well have been woke. Yeah. Surely not in Russia, though. Surely not. A meteorite, says Jocelyn. Have they ever gone on to find, and this isn't me, I'm challenging anyone saying that, I'm wondering if anyone knows. Have they found evidence? Tunguska, evidence, meteor. Because you'd have to think there would be like minerals and things, telltale signs, right? That we're dealing with something like a boloid or a fragment of a comet or something, surely. Again, like I say, I'm not saying that to criticize anyone. I'm saying, do you know? I mean, have they ever gone and taken samples and found the right constituent parts to say a meteor or something like that? So it says on today's date, and it was June 30th, 113 years ago, the largest asteroid impact in recorded history struck on a warm summer morning in Siberia, Russia. We observe Asteroid Day each year on June 30th, on the anniversary of what's known as the Tunguska explosion. The explosion happened over the sparsely populated northern forest land above the Podkamenia Tunguska River in what is present-day Krasnoyarsk Krai. The blast released energy, or enough energy, to kill reindeer and flatten an estimated 80 million trees, like we just heard. And this is saying 2,150 square kilometers. Witnesses reported seeing a fireball, a bluish light, nearly as bright as the sun, moving across the sky. Well, that's quite conclusive. It is what it is, though. It's eyewitness accounts. A flash and a sound similar to artillery fire was said to follow. A powerful shockwave broke windows hundreds of miles away and knocked people off their feet. Yet decades passed before anyone could explain the event. So here's the area we're talking about here, folks. Way up towards the top. So, a mysterious aspect of the Tunguska event was that no crater has ever been found. So that ties in with what ZX was saying about an airburst. Polynation is talking about Randall. I think that would probably be Randall Carlson, I would imagine. He's probably going to be coming up in tonight's show about where did I put it? The catastrophe cycle. Graham Hancock is another person that talks about the catastrophe cycle. Sorry, just because I've seen you mentioning that there. I'll get back to this here now, though. They now believe the incoming object never struck Earth, but instead exploded in the atmosphere, causing what's known as an airburst. This type of atmospheric explosion was still enough to cause massive damage to a forest in the region. If you think about that, as opposed to the detonation taking place on the ground, and you've got that kind of the spreading out, the shockwave. Imagine the detonation occurring above ground, and all of that being forced downwards. That's what gives you the pattern with the trees and everything. You find modern munitions do this as well. Some smart bombs, airburst, I believe nukes. Some of them are designed to do that as well. It kind of increases the force, the power. So scientists determined that the object was likely a stony asteroid, approximately the size of a 25-story building. That's a sizable chunk of rock. The asteroid was traveling at a speed of about 33,500 miles per hour and exploded 3 to 6 miles, sorry. That's 5 to 10 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Why did it take so long, the better part of the 20th century, for scientists to understand what caused the Tunguska event? Well, for one thing, it was almost a decade before the first scientists reached this region, or this remote region of Siberia. In 1927, Leonid Kulik led the first Soviet research expedition to investigate the Tunguska event. He made an initial trip to the region, interviewing local witnesses and exploring the area where the trees had been felled. But Kulik did not find any meteorite fragments or an impact crater. As a result of Kulik's initial investigation, some concocted wild theories to explain the Tunguska event. People claimed it was an encounter, claimed it was caused by an encounter with a stricken alien spacecraft. Later, they pointed to a mini black hole or a particle of antimatter. The truth is just as interesting and perhaps more terrifying because it can happen again. So there you see the kind of demonstration of what I was talking about there. Look at that. Wowzers. So in fact, the Tunguska event basically did happen again, just on a smaller scale. Enter the Chelyabinsk meteor, and that was 1,500 miles to the west 105 years later. On February 15th, 2013, a similar, although smaller, airburst occurred over the city of Chelyabinsk in Russia. I remember covering that. Remember that?
Maybe that's why, when the morning sky lit up with a second sun and a shockwave shattered windows in hundreds of buildings around Chelyabinsk, only a few people picking themselves off the ground figured it out right away. This was not a crashing plane or a rocket attack. It was a meteor strike, the most powerful since the Tunguska event of 1908, says Bill Cook of NASA's meteoroid.
There we go. So if we keep scrolling down here, it says the Chelyabinsk event provided vital clues as to what happened during the Tunguska event. As NASA explained, now come on now, be kind. It's only NASA. We love NASA. I'm not even being sarcastic. I do like NASA. I don't trust them entirely, but I like them. New evidence arrived to help solve the mystery of Tunguska. This highly documented fireball created an opportunity for researchers to apply modern computer modeling techniques to explain what was seen, heard, and felt. The models were used with video observations of the fireball and maps of the damage on the ground to reconstruct the original size, motion, and angle of the dangle. As the rock came in, and speed of the Chelyabinsk object. The resulting interpretations is that Chelyabinsk was most likely a stony asteroid. Not a stoned asteroid, but a stony asteroid. Amen. The size of a 5-story building that broke apart 15 miles above the ground. This generated a shock wave equivalent to a 550 kiloton explosion. That's a big boy. The explosion's shockwave blew out roughly 1 million windows and injured more than 1,000 people. Fortunately, the force of the explosion was not enough to knock down trees or structures. And per current understanding of asteroid population, an object like the Chelyabinsk meteor can impact Earth every 10 years to 100 years on average. So yes, I would have much to go here. I'll read this out. So in 2019, scientists published new research about the Tunguska event in a series of papers in a special issue of the journal Icarus. The boy who had his wings burned by the sun, right? We're going to be looking at the sun getting all burny and people getting their fingers burnt by it later. Oh, it's going to be a good one. A workshop held at NASA's Ames Research Center in Silicon Valley and sponsored by the NASA Planetary Defense Coordination Office, that's a mouthful, inspired the research. Now, the theme of the workshop was re-examining the astronomical cold case of the 1908 Tunguska impact event. In recent decades, due to the Tunguska event and other similar impacts, astronomers have come to take the possibility of catastrophic comet and asteroid impacts seriously. They now have observing programs to watch for near-Earth objects, as they're called. At regular meetings, they discuss what might happen if we do find a large object on a collision course with Earth. We know what will happen. Bruce Willis will go up there and he'll take care of it. I've seen the movie. I know it's going to happen. I know Bruce is getting a bit on in years now. And I'm praying I haven't missed it. He's passed or something. And I'm living through some really, really dramatic Mandela event or a Bruce Willis event that'll hit me between the eyes in a minute. But I know that Bruce Willis has got us covered. So don't be worried, okay? Fear is the mind killer. And while Bruce is here, we're all right. So 2 separate missions will travel to the asteroid Didymos. And the European Space Agency's Hera mission is due to launch in 2024. And NASA's DART mission, now that is one that is a mind-boggler, will launch sometime at the end of this year. The DART mission will crash into Didymos's little moonlet to test how we can towards Earth. The Hera mission will journey to Didymos. I like that. Probably Didymos or something, but Didymos sounds better. Lovely set of diddies. To study DART's impact. Lorian Wheeler, a researcher at NASA Ames Research Center, working on the NASA's Asteroid Threat Assessment Program, said, because there are so few observed cases, a lot of uncertainty remains about how large asteroids break up in the atmosphere and how much damage they could cause on the ground. However, recent advancements in computational models, along with analysis of the Chelyabinsk and other meteor events, are helping to improve our understanding of these factors so that we can better evaluate potential asteroid threats in the near future. And remember, when we're talking about asteroids, that means we're one step from.
And the last card would be the extraterrestrial threat.
Indeed. I'm just saying it is what it is, ladies and gents. Look, don't shoot the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger.
Come on, man.
Excuse me, it's ma'am.
Are you serious?
How dare you?
Exactly, and on that note, I'm going to let all you great people out there talk about asteroids until your little heart is content. Me, I'm going to get a drink of coffee. I'm going to partake in some heavenly PPP, and then we'll get right back into it. Dang, I'm having fun today. I hope you are too. Remember, hit like, hit share. Show me you care. If you really care, there's PayPal in the description, but hey. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the sweetest one of them all? Well, it's Smarty Lauderdale, of course. Yes, indeed. Big H, you're never too late, dude. I have a rule. People are exactly where they need to be, when they need to be, right at exactly the moment in history when they're meant to be there. So you being here now is exactly when you were supposed to come along. You haven't missed everything. We've just been kicking back, chillaxing, yes. It's a mixture of chilling and relaxing. We chillax around here. And we've been PPP, and we've been going over a couple of stories that, trust me, Big H, you have missed nothing that would enlighten your life to the point where it would improve when you wake up tomorrow morning knowing what I have just gone over. Nothing. And I don't say that to be cruel to my content. I'm just being brutally honest, dude. Trust me, we're all good in the hood, and I've got a cool story here that you and I hope everyone else might like. We've been talking a lot about out-of-body experiences. It really started to come up in the conversation when I joined Billy Ray Valentine the other night. Great show with Billy Ray. You can catch him on Aftermath FM every night before Clyde Lewis. Tuesday, Wednesdays and Thursdays. I said every night. Okay, I want to narrow that down to Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. But we also got talking about near-death experiences, stuff like that. Took all of that into Freaky Friday. We were discussing similar topics there. Great to see Johnny Whistles again, wasn't it? And then last night I was on the show with Bill, Derek and Travis. And we were talking about the devil in the details and the satanic music industry. Now, I think some of these characters have totally sold out to darkness, but I think some of them are probably using it for marketing. That's another thing. But during the conversation, we talked about how some of these people have removed all of the mirrors from their home. And why is that? Well, we talk about sometimes mirrors being like portals into other dimensions, other worlds, and sometimes people don't like what's looking back at them in the mirror, be it their own reflection or something else. Well, I came across a story today, not about mirrors, but something similar, because mirrors can be used in something called scrying. What is scrying? I hear some of you saying. Well, scrying, also known by various names such as seeing or peeping, is the practice of looking into a suitable medium in the hope of detecting significant messages or visions. Now, the objective might be personal guidance, prophecy, revelation, or inspiration. But down the ages, scrying in various forms also has been a prominent means of divination and fortune telling. Think of Nostradamus looking into the pool of water. Okay? So it remains popular in occult circles and discussed in many media, both modern and centuries old. And I bring that up because check out what they've just discovered over in Italy. They have discovered 3,000-year-old infinity pools to look into other realms. And they've just been discovered, like I say. Now, I haven't read this story, but when I hear of infinity pools, I may end up with egg on my face here. But I'm thinking we're talking about scrying. Using the water, the surface, the reflection as a medium, as a portal into other realms. It's out there. So am I. So let's get into it. You can fool all of the people some of the time, and some of the people all of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time. So various forms of that quote are attributed to Abraham Lincoln. But if Honest Abe had lived during the Bronze Age in northern Italy, he would have seen an example of how ritual leaders of the time created a magical pool that fooled all of the people into thinking they were peering into a portal to another realm. Would Abe have been fooled too? Would you? So right off the bat, we're seeing how this is taking on a totally different twist altogether. I like it. You've had one way of life in operation for hundreds of years, and then you seem to have a switch to fewer, larger settlements, more international trade, more specialisation, such as textile manufacture, and a change in burial practices. So while this unique wooden structure was discovered in 2005 in the Noceto province of northern Italy, it was only recently dated to 1444 BCE in the late Middle Bronze Age. Now that date makes these pools, and a second pool was added above it 10 years later, significant to Stuart Manning, a distinguished professor of arts and sciences in classics at Cornell University, who dated the wood. Does that mean he took it out for a drink? Did he date wood? I'm only joking. Who dated the wood using a new technique called three-ring sequenced radiocarbon wiggle matching. Well, that's a very scientific term, right? Could I send this piece of wood in for some wiggle matching, please? No problem. Just wiggle it about over there. Watch where you're putting your wood, though. Boom, boom. Where wooden objects are dated. You see, a lot of people dating wood these days, I see, by matching the patterns of radiocarbon isotopes from their tree rings with patterns from data sets found elsewhere around the world. That put Noceto Vasca Votiva, that's the Noceto votive tub, spit it out, Kev, at a pivotal time in history that required building a suitable monument to mark it. Now, that monument was Noceto Vasca Votiva. Not quite Stonehenge, but perhaps just as mystical as the rock circle. This is, oh boy, this is good. It's tempting to think it was about creating a reflective surface that you can see into and where you put some offerings. But you're also looking at the sky above and the linking of the land, the sky, and the rain. As above, so below. So, in a new study with photos published in PLOS ONE and the explanatory press release, Manning explains that the stacked pools were located at the top of a hill, so they couldn't have been used as a reservoir, nor was it used for irrigation. That meant it was placed there for visitors to peer into with wonder and leave offerings. The bottom was covered with ceramic vessels, figurines, and other stone, wood, and organic items as part of a supernatural water ritual, celebrating or possibly lamenting the big changes going in the local society at the time. Sadly, peering into the watery abyss didn't help the people see what was coming. The collapse of the whole social and economic system in around 1200 BC seems to occur because it becomes much drier. Probably because there was too many people stood staring into this cool pool. Good old climate change. Oh, really? Come on, man. Where are you? Where are you? Come on, I know you're in here somewhere.
How dare you?
Exactly, Greta. How dare they? The leaders fooled the residents into thinking that spiritual offerings would fix the problem. Sound familiar? If Honest Abe were alive today, he might point to reasons not learned at Noceto Vasca Votiva and offer a new maxim of our times. You can fool all the people some of the time, and some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool around with climate change.
How dare you?
Indeed. So, with that said, I'm going to come back in a couple of seconds here. We'll start to go through the chat. We'll get to wrapping this up, and then we'll head on over to what we're going to be talking about today, the catastrophe cycle on the main KBS show over on TFRlive.com. But I'm not going anywhere just yet. Let me know what you think of the scrying pools. Let me know what you think of anything. I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. So, Big H says, see, Big H, you arrived here just in time. I want crowdsource this one, folks. He says, I don't know if this is off topic. It is, but it's cool, dude. I've been waking up 2 or 3 times a week at 3:16 a.m. for the last 3 years. Now, that's pretty strange. That is very strange, sir. Big H, people in the chat room, what do you make of Big H waking up at such a specific time? 3:16 a.m. Is it in the morning? Is it during the night? Hey, that's one of those, that's close to my 3:33 ultimate Ooga Booga witching hour, right? But what's going on with Big H? Is there something cyclical that happens at that time in the street, maybe, that wakes him up? Or is there something in his subconscious prompting him, urging him, compelling him to arise from his slumber? Ooh, who knew? Who knows? I agree with you, Anne. Sounds like there's something to that. Sounds like there's something to that. Anne says, or sorry, Anna. Sorry, Anna. Anna says, gotta be something in it. No coincidence. Yeah. That graphic at Kev Hum. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Don't know what it means, Bernice. You'll have to clear that up for me. Is that hum a good thing or a bad thing? Either way is okay with me, dude. You know me. I'm easy Ozzy. Austin 3:16 says, I just woke your ass. Says John Nelson. I like it, John. I like it. Bernice says, old commercial can't fool Mother Nature. Mother Nature is a powerful, powerful thing. You don't want to piss off Mother Nature. Oh boy. There are some things we can handle, ladies and gents. So many possibilities. Isn't there, Jocelyn? And that's what keeps me coming back for more of that. Look at him, jiggering and jaggering. Look at him. He looks like he's shouting at me. I love it. Anytime I'm slacking, I just look at that and old back, she's got me going. Indeed. Later's bet. We will see you at the main show today. You can catch that over on TFR Live, TalkStream Live, Paranormal Radio app, KBS Discord. And it's going to be from Velikovsky to Suspicious Observers. The signs are all around us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be presenting to you through the works and the words of others a 12,000-year cycle that we best start paying attention to. Because something is coming just around the corner. Something's just over the horizon. And I keep saying we haven't seen nothing yet. We haven't seen nothing yet. I ain't talking about a humanity crusher. It ain't going to be the end of us. It's not that kind of cycle. But it's certainly going to be the end of lifestyles as we know them. Yes, indeed. We'll be getting into the magnetics. We'll be getting into the polar shifts, the crustal shifts, the cycles, the revolutions, the Randall Carlsons, the Graham Hancocks, all of that good stuff coming up on the main show today in just over an hour from now. So I hope you can join me for that. Just going to be me and all of you. And we'll be taking in a lot of that. And then I'll be getting one of our previous guests. We'll be calling in towards the end of the show. Tell you all about a new adventure, a new podcast that they're embarking on. So that'll be something different to take us out today. And I want to thank you all for your time. If you did chill out, hang out with me. I truly, truly appreciate it. It's going to be the start of a lot of streams this week, but having said that, tomorrow I've got appointments all day at the hospital, so I don't know how I'm going to be feeling when I get in, but we do have Charlie Robinson tomorrow night on the show. That's a definite. Then on Wednesday, we've got Jimmy Jeans and I think John Brisson is going to be coming onto the show from We've Read the Document, so that's going to be happening on Wednesday. And on Thursday, it's going to be Scotty Lopez and the long-awaited return of Ryan Gable. Yes, indeed. He's going to be talking about the Wendigo, but with a difference. With a big difference. We're going to be getting into a mind virus, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, indeed. Thanks for the stream, Kev. Good one, thank you. We are due a mini ice age, so wrap up and stay happy, says Rick. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Polly says, we can't piss off Mother Nature. You are right there. She is bigger fish. Rick says, I was born at 3:30 hours. It's a fine time of day for all. Absolutely, brother. And on that note, Anna, nice one, Kev. And blooming great lineup for the week ahead. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you all so much for being you. You are the change. Never forget that. And remember, we're all in this together. I don't know, that just felt like a dramatic kind of end to it, you know? Oh no, wrong one. Keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo. Big H, we want to know. We want you to take note of what nights you're waking up at that time, dude. We're on it. We're with you, Big H.